What is happening, good people? Give me 2 seconds. I hear double audio, which means I'm listening to myself. Hey, actually, let me do that. Let me see how loud I actually sound. Testing 1, 2, 1, 2. What's going on, folks? How's everybody doing tonight, man? Welcome and thank you for tuning in to the latest episode of Terrible Towel Tuesday. I am your host, SimFBallCritic, live from the Still Basement. You know, every time you say "the," I always put that funny accent on it. The Still Basement. How's everybody doing, man? Thanks for tuning in. You know, slow time period right now, but we always seem to find some things to talk about. So let me jump right into the topic so you guys can at least know where we're going with it tonight. Main topic of the night, and you guys already see it. I'm sure some of you guys are already commenting. Mason Rudolph wants to be the starter for the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2022. We will definitely talk about that. I'll probably save that for last. But I want to talk a little bit about the thoughts on Malik Hooker visiting the Steelers and potentially signing in the future. Julio Jones signing with the Titans, and what does that do for the Steelers and Titans matchup? And then we'll definitely talk a little bit about Minkah Fitzpatrick. I just saw this one, man. Minkah mentioned that he's wished the Steelers. Actually, I spelled that wrong, so let me fix that. I said wishes. Oh, yeah, well, I guess that still applies. He says he wishes. Where is it? He wishes the Steelers. Yeah, that's wrong. I got to fix that. Y'all know I'm a little OCD when it comes to that. But he basically wished the Pittsburgh Steelers would have picked up. He wished we would have picked up the fifth-year option for Terrell Edmunds. So we'll discuss that. You know, I definitely want to know, do you guys think that that's more or less him saying that, you know, being supportive, or does he really mean that? But give me 2 shakes of a rattlesnake, guys. I got to fix that. I have to fix that, man, because like I said, that's that little OCD that you develop when you want things to be correct. So give me a second, man. Let me see if I can fix that in the description. Actually, I probably have to do it on the computer, so y'all give me 2 seconds. Talks amongst yourselves. Let me edit that really quick. How's everybody doing tonight, though, man? I hope everybody is well. Hope you guys are lovely. Hope you guys are lovely. How's it going? Here we go. I just got to fix that little typo there, man. You know, like I said. Forgive me, guys. It's not about perfection, but, you know, it's about doing your best, right? All right. There we go. All right. So let's get into the hellos. Let's say hello to all the good people who were here early. Shout outs to Mr. Winningham. First comment of the night. How you doing this evening, sir? Lance and Shield, C. Antoine Hill, James Ramey, Relfax. Hello, Miss Lanisha. How you doing this evening? Gotta always say hello to the lovely ladies of the chat. Who else we got? Hello, Miss Destiny. How are you doing this evening? Another lovely lady of the chat. Philip Chu in the building. Jay Waller in the building, Jordan Mid, Joshua Shields. Who else we got off in here? Sippy Boy 302, BMK, Bully Mob Cannell. Okay. Or Bully Mob Kennel. Okay. I like that. By any chance, any, relation to dogs by chance? Hello, father-in-law Leonard in the building. Dwayne Duncan Till. Good brother Kenyon in the building. Who else we got up in here? Brother Mark 1992. And I think we'll end it with good brother Y Diggy. There you have it. Oh, wait a minute. Did Lanisha say it was happy a birthday? Is there a birthday? Birthday wishes in order? Yes. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to Lanisha. So guys, show some love. Yes, yes, yes. I don't know if it actually happened or if it's coming up, but either way, whether it's happening right now or it's shortly approaching, happy birthday, Lanisha. Hope you have a wonderful one. You know, to me, that's always your personal new year, right? Not necessarily January 1st. Usually your birthday starts your personal new year. So happy birthday to you. All right, man. We're gonna start off early and start off fast. Like I said, man, during this off season when there's not a lot to talk about, I'm not gonna spend a lot of time, man, if I can help it. Try to dive right into the topics, man. Get them in, get them out. And then we'll see if we have any phone calls, and I'll kick it with you guys in the chat for a minute. And that'll be the show. So real quick, let me take a small sip of water. Let me look over the topics and see which one I might want to dive into first. I am going to throw a couple miscellaneous topics in the chat as well. I'll throw them at the chat. I'll throw one real quick to you guys that's not in my actual topics list. Bill Cowher. Bill Cowher said that he definitely thinks that this will be Ben Roethlisberger's last season. Excuse me, I'm not quoting him verbatim there, but he basically says something to that effect that he does believe that this will be Ben's last season. So my question is to you guys, man, how do y'all feel about that? Do you really think that this is his final season? Happy or sad about that? I mean, of course, we all have known this has been coming for a while. This is nothing new for us to discuss, but when you start hearing other people weigh in on it, former head coach of his, sure he still has a relationship with Bill Cowher. I mean, listen, Cowher and company were the ones who drafted him. He won a Super Bowl with Cowher, so I'm pretty sure that relationship is still there to some degree. So when you start hearing people like that give their 2 cents, does it make you guys feel any differently about whether he's going to come back or not? I'll be really quick with mine. I've been saying it all along. I definitely think this is his last season. Seeing him do a couple things that's out of character in terms of taking the pay cut and things like that. I mean, you could challenge that and you could say, well, maybe he knows he has to do that this season, and then the next year, if he decided to come back, it'll be more cap, yada, yada, yada. Okay, fair argument. But I do think it's his last season, man. I really do. Age and attrition is undefeated. And the way Ben Roethlisberger plays, it's about that time. Regardless of how good you think he still is or how good he still isn't, whichever way, whichever side of the fence you're on, it's about time. It's about that time. What is he going into his, 18th season or 17th, 18th? I've lost track. So I don't understand why the conversation continues to come up as if it's, news to anybody. But I definitely believe in myself that this is his last year. Jordan Mid says yes, and it should be Ben's last year. Agrees with me. Yeah. It's guys, that's not a knock at Ben Roethlisberger. I told you guys the love that I will always hold for Ben Roethlisberger in my heart personally, because again, he's the only quarterback for the team that I love that allowed me to see two Super Bowl championships and saw a competitive third opportunity, right? Fell short to Aaron Rodgers, but the 70s teams weren't my era. When I really started watching the Steelers, all those quarterbacks that we had before Ben Roethlisberger really wasn't quite it. Cordell Stewart was intriguing in terms of what he could have been. Maybe the guys like Cordell came out a little too early. Maybe in today's world it would be different. But, just went through a lot of guys that just won't it. So, in all fairness, Ben Roethlisberger is my quarterback. That's my quarterback, if I'm going to quote Terrell Owens there. So, but at the end of the day, it's time, man. It's time. Me and Tony, my good brother Tony, if he's in here, we've been talking about this for the last 4 years. I've been telling Tony every year, and it's going to be a time where there ain't going to be no Ben Roethlisberger. We are approaching it, and now we're pretty much here. So, but like I said, it's always interesting, man, when you hear it from somebody who's close to the situation. Obviously, like I said, Cowher has his history with Ben. For him to say that, then yeah, I think he's probably about out of here. And as you guys see, Kenyon says he's already got about 12 prospects. Kenyon has sent me a couple guys, so we'll be all right, man. We'll be all right. I think that time period, though it might not be as fun as we might want it to be in terms of record, wins, losses, I think that's going to be a fun period for us. It's a rebirth, if you will, post Ben Roethlisberger. And that could be a good rebirth, or a negative one. It could be a Patrick Mahomes type rebirth where we mess around and find a dude like that and we just go on this crazy run. Or it could be more, more of the not so much, luck finding the franchise quarterback. So I think it's going to be fun for us fans, though, man. A new era. A new era. But all right, man, let's see. Let's get to one of the main topics here. What do I got on my list here? Which one do I want to approach first? Well, I guess we can roll these two together. Let's talk about the Malik Hooker situation, and then we'll talk about Minkah Fitzpatrick's thoughts on Terrell Edmunds. Well, I'll say it like this in terms of Malik Hooker. He was more or less, a top prospect coming out of college. If you guys remember, Ohio State product, first round pick, has played relatively well. I can be honest in saying I couldn't really recall the total package in terms of how well he played or didn't, because I just didn't watch the team as much. I don't watch other teams like that. I catch other teams. Well, I'm lying. Let me retract a little bit of what I said. I do watch other teams. I watch football all day if I can, but I'm not honed in on other teams' players. There's some guys that you're just going to know about, right? You're going to know about Aaron Rodgers. You knew about guys like, Tom Brady and, all of these people. There's so many people I can name. You knew about Odell Beckham when he was with the Giants, and because you watch football, right? But I don't know all of the players on other teams in terms of how well they're doing. I don't play fantasy football. I know some of y'all might laugh at that, and I will tell y'all why I don't as well, as a side note. But because I don't follow every player's stats and things like that, I can't honestly say how well Malik Hooker did and didn't. I definitely recall him making plays. I recall him getting some picks and things like that, but I couldn't tell you how great or how bad of a player he was. I just know he was, from what I've seen and heard, that he was a solid, safety. Injury history, though. He's coming off an Achilles injury. So that's something right there. But side note, as far as fantasy football, before I get back to Malik Hooker, I tried playing it one time. And y'all know what happened to me? I was too biased. I was too biased towards the Steelers to ever pick the right lineup, to ever root for somebody doing well against us. And it just didn't work out for me. So I don't play. I'm sorry. It just didn't work out. So I was like, all right, I guess this ain't for me. I will stick to just being a diehard Steeler fan. Because, oh my God, you guys should have seen how biased I was. It was ridiculous. But back to Malik Hooker. He's coming off an Achilles injury. I think he's about 8 months removed. Not saying you can't come back from that. We've seen athletes come back from that. But more than likely, the more realistic stance on that is he'll probably be a little more compromised than he once was. Obviously, he's still young, so I'm always cool with us taking a chance on guys who were touted as top prospects, like the other Ohio State product. Okay, I don't know if he's ever going to turn out to be anything, but I don't have a problem with us taking a chance on Dwayne Haskins. There's really not a whole lot to lose. There's not a whole lot to lose in that situation, so I'm cool with it, right? But here's the catch. Let me cut on this light. Hold on, guys. Give me a second. Give me a second, guys. One moment. Oh, that didn't help too much. I got my light a little higher, but when I have a hat on, it kind of dulls my eyes out, so whatever. Let me turn it up a little more. That helps a little bit. But anyway, what I was going to say was I don't really have a big problem with that. Taking chances on guys, man, that, they were once top talent as far as what they were projected, and what they're going to be is what they're going to be. But when we take a chance on them and it doesn't cost us anything, I have no problem with that. And I think he would improve our secondary. Because let's be honest, behind Minkah Fitzpatrick and Terrell Edmunds, right now we have a lot of guys that we don't know about. Some of you guys are familiar with Arthur Marlett. I'm a little familiar with him, but again, from what I'm seeing, he's played all over the field. A lot of times he's played in the slot. So what is he really as a dedicated safety? Your Antoine Brookses of the world, we're still waiting to see what he's going to be. Trey Norwood, a rookie, a 7th-round draft pick. Maybe he could be something, maybe he can't. It's just we don't know. It's a lot of unknowns. So I'm saying a guy like Malik Hooker, in my opinion, would make the defense better if he still, if he can rebound from that injury, because this is what I would envision. And I won't stay too long on this. I would envision a situation where if he, were to sign with the Steelers, he said the meeting went well. He didn't say anything negative about medicals or anything like that. If he were to sign with the Steelers, I think what I would do to get creative, we always looking for that dime backer, right? I move Edmunds on down in the box. Since Malik Hooker is more of your traditional safety type, let him and Minkah play back, right? If you want to go too high and you want to have Edmunds playing closer to the box, so more of the 3 safety look that we put out there when Cam Kelly was on the team. Remember that? And or when, I don't even want to say this dude's name, but when Morgan Burnett was with us. Do that, but move Edmunds down in the box, right? Or, like we did last year a little bit, it gives you even more freedom to allow Minkah to be more of the robber type, right? Just like, remember when he got the intercept, the pick off on Baker? He's in that robber position, lurking. Gives you more freedom and more comfort to do that when you have another guy that can play deep that is more of your cover guy, more so than Edmunds. Even though I think Edmunds did improve his coverage. But I'm just saying, I think if you bring him in, your safety group gets better. How much better? I mean, we can all argue that. I'm just saying, I think it would be a better situation than what we have now, because at least you have a guy that's played in the league and is proven. Just got to stay healthy. So that's the only caveat. What's he going to be with the Achilles return? Who knows? But I would not be opposed to bringing him in if it doesn't cost so much and you're not taking much of a risk. Why not? Because whether you guys like it or not, I know we're trying to be hopeful and saying what this guy might do and what that guy might do as far as all of these rookies and some of these undrafted guys. But our defense, I think, it could potentially take a step back. Potentially. The potential is there to be as good or better. But realistically, you have to start off with saying they might take a step back because of the guys that we lost. So we'll see. Now, sticking with that theme in terms of safety, Minkah Fitzpatrick in a recent interview said that he wished that the Steelers would have picked up the 5th-year option on Terrell Edmunds. Again, sometimes these things you got to look at it like, well, what else is he going to say? But my question to you guys is, do you believe that? Do you believe that Minkah really does like playing with Terrell Edmunds and he really does view him as a great player and, a good compliment to what he does? I'll go as far as saying I think so. Again, Edmunds is not the playmaker that I know some of you would want him to be, but I don't think Edmunds is as bad as some of you think he is. I think last year, Terrell Edmunds greatly improved his game in terms of his game and where his ceiling probably is. I think he has developed into a solid safety, a solid, strong safety who can tackle, who has been a little better in coverage in terms of PBUs and things like that. So I think Minkah's not saying that just to be nice. I think, there is some truth in that. But at the end of the day, how often are you going to hear a player say, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that's going to come out of his mouth. But, it's more so for us to debate. Do you think that Minkah really feels that way? And based off of what you've seen from Terrell Edmunds, does it support that? And I think so. Again, I don't view Terrell Edmunds the same way some of you guys might. He is not that playmaker. He proved that to us a couple years. I'll say not last season, but the season before that. Remember the interception that he could have gotten to prevent a touchdown deep down the field, and he jumped early. Y'all remember that one? He's proven to not be a ball skill type of guy. He's not the ball hawk type of guy, and it is what it is. But I think what he does in our defense, I'll take him. I think he does a decent job, a solid job in his responsibility in our current defense. So those are my thoughts there. Let's see what else I got, man. I only got 2 more topics, I believe. Like I told you guys, I'm burning through it tonight, man. Let's talk about Julio Jones. Sip of water. And by the way, what's today's date? I think I'm past my my sponsor thing. I think the last day was on the 5th. So you guys won't have to see that again. Potentially, because you know how this thing works, guys. A lot of times sponsors, they send you stuff and it's like a trial run. And then depending on how everything went out and worked out as far as the promotion and if people bought it and blah, 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 then they decide if they really want to be a full-time sponsor. So I don't know if that's going to happen. So you can pretty much say that you guys won't have to see that anymore, at least for now. Thank you all for bearing with me with that. Because, hey, I don't even know if the code still works because it was a trial period. But there you have it. So maybe you'll see the ad again from Manscaped. Maybe you won't. But let's get to the next thing here, man. Julio Jones signs with the Titans. Well, not signing with the Titans, but being traded to the Titans. How do you guys feel about that? Number one. And how do you feel it will affect our matchup against the Titans? I will give you my thoughts first really quick. I got to address some of us here in Steeler Nation because y'all know the old saying with Steeler Nation, right? Anytime there's a marquee player on the market, people in Steeler Nation want us to sign them, trade for them, re-sign them. I mean, whatever it is, whatever there is you can do to get a player, anytime the name comes up, the Steelers fans always say, what about that guy, right? I get it. You're doing it out of emotion. You're doing it out of just pure fandom. And you're doing it out of what you think what could be. But here are the facts that you cannot deny. Julio Jones, if I'm not mistaken, is guaranteed, his guaranteed salary for this season is $15 million or so. Which means if you trade for him, then you have to take on that salary unless you work out some type of deal to where the other team is going to, I doubt that. But in most cases, because the contract is continuing, it's not like the contract, is at the end or anything. You take on that salary. Steelers don't have the money to do that. They're not going to do that. Now, could they possibly make it work and finagles? No, I don't know how because, again, it's guaranteed. And from what they were saying is the next 2 years of his contract isn't guaranteed. So at least this season it would have been tough. So that tells you right there, if you've really been following closely, the Steelers were never going to be in play for that in terms of financially. It just ain't going to work. I'll throw something else at you guys that y'all might laugh at this. Whose spot is he taking? I know. That sounds crazy that I'm trying to say that Julio Jones can't take somebody's spot right now that's receiving for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But it's a valid question because, again, that's the way you have to look at it. If you're going to bring in this money, whose spot does he take? And does it make sense for him to take that guy's spot when you have most of these guys are still under contract and they're not due yet? You just got Juju back on a 1-year deal, so he's out the picture, right? It's not going to be, we cut Juju and bring, no. That's not going to happen. So now you're talking about Claypool, Johnson, perhaps Washington, which, is on the last year of his deal. But what I'm saying is financially, it don't even make sense. And then you're going to look at the position like, all right, so which one of these guys can we sit down and kind of slow their progression for a receiver that's 32 years old? He's Julio Jones. Don't get it twisted. And 32, and nowadays, and the way the world is now, that ain't old, right? You can still perform in your 30s in pro sports, especially somebody who takes care. And I don't claim to know this, but it seems like Julio Jones takes care of himself. He's in shape, yada, yada, yada. So, he should still be able to be somewhat of Julio Jones. But again, our Julio Jones is Claypool. Claypool has all of the makings of being a Julio Jones type. A big body receiver that's fast, that you can send him deep down the field. So that's what I'm saying, guys, is you have to sometimes pay attention to the roster financially and as far as how long you have some of these players already on the roster and or the position. It just didn't make sense to think that they were going to bring in Julio Jones to Pittsburgh. It just wasn't going to happen, man. Wasn't going to happen. And like I said, he's 32. He's not the same big bad Julio Jones. He hasn't been that for the last couple years. Still effective. Don't get it twisted. I'd take him, but I'm just talking about from a business standpoint. It was never going to happen. Second, with him being with the Titans, here's an interesting question I have for you guys. How much more potent is it going to make the Titans offense? I really want to know. The Titans are a run-first type of football team, right? They can't go so far away from that. They can't go so far away from what they're built to do. And they can't go so far away from taking the ball out of the hands of the running back that they paid. So it makes me wonder how many attempts, how many more snaps per game or attempts per game, not snaps, but attempts per game will be taken away from a Derrick Henry, an A.J. Brown to force Julio Jones into the mix. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad move. I'm just saying, look at it like that. When you look at how they're currently constructed, so how many snaps, I keep saying snaps, attempts. How many attempts do you now have to factor in that Julio Jones will need to get? Now, here's where I think it does help them. Boy, ain't going to be no whole lot of loading the box, bro. That's where it helps them. Julio Jones could very well be a decoy for them in some situations because you cannot afford. You will not be able to afford to load the box, right? And leave Julio and A.J. Brown, you can say that now. He's showing himself. I don't know if you want to leave them dudes by themselves, leave the corners on the island much, throughout the course of that game. That ain't going to be a good idea. So I think Julio Jones helps them in that regard. So, yes, I do think it was a good move. But in terms of people thinking, man, Julio going to get off in Tennessee. I've seen this, right? I've seen people already say Julio might be a 1,000-yard receiver again this year. And I'm like, I don't know about that. Unless they're going to completely change their philosophy. However, I do think he's going to help them in their approach. Because like I said, I don't think you can be comfortable with loading that box and leaving them boys out there one-on-one. You ain't going to be able to do that but so much. And if you not loading the box and you ain't getting no push on the line and they still able to get Derrick Henry the ball in very soft boxes, yeah, man. Yeah. Ooh-wee. Could get interesting. So, Titan fans, I'm not saying it was a bad move. I'm not saying that it's not going to help. I'm just saying I think it's going to help in ways that most people are not viewing it. Most people are just viewing, he's Julio Jones. He's going to, no. I don't think he's going to be that. I don't think his targets are going to be high. However, boy, you talk about putting stress on the defense and play action. You see what I'm saying? Go ahead and load that box for King Henry back there. And now we got play action and we can go to AJ or Julio in single coverage. Woo. Yikes. So shout outs to the Titans. Hey, round of applause, man. Round of applause. You know that I ain't afraid to, give people their credit. Round of applause. That's huge. I don't think my round of applause is working. Hold on, guys. Let me get all my theatrics together here. But yeah, man, that's going to be interesting. That's going to be very interesting to see how these boys are going to fare, and how people will choose to defend them. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting, man, just to see, how, like I said, how people are going to choose to defend them. You know what I'm saying? So there's the round of applause. Round of applause to the Titans, man. You did good. So, all right, guys, let me get back to the last comment here, and then we'll grab the 3 calls that we have in the queue. So, last and final topic. I know some of y'all is hot right now. But, yes, Mason Rudolph says he envisioned himself as a starting quarterback in the National Football League, and he would like to do it for our team. Now, those are his words, for our team. So he's already saying he would like to be the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers have re-upped him 1 season, so we have him signed through 2022. We're all assuming that this has been Roethlisberger's last season. We all are looking at other quarterbacks to potentially get drafted, and some of you guys are talking about them right now. However, there's a such thing called a stopgap. Or, being that he is the only one that's signed right now through 2022, could be some security on the Steelers' part. He could very well be signed as the backup. But he's going to have an opportunity to compete. How do you guys feel about that? I know it's not fair to ask this question because the last time we saw Mason Rudolph, right, looked all right. I'll even go as far as to say he looked good. I'm going to be honest with you. In that game against Cleveland, Rudolph looked pretty good to me. Pretty good. I'm not ready to say he's the Steelers franchise quarterback, but he looked okay. He showed it was more of what we saw in the Jets game the year before when he had to come in and take over for Duck. It was more of that. It wasn't the bad Rudolph that we saw in Cleveland a year before. It wasn't that guy. It was more of he got a little something, still rough around the edges, but he got a little something. He'll take shots down the field, et cetera, et cetera. Not too shabby. But how are we going to feel if this guy is actually the starter next season while we're trying to get the franchise quarterback? I will go as far as saying this. Don't be surprised if that doesn't happen, folks. Seriously. Don't be surprised. Do not be surprised. Let me explain to you why. Dwayne Haskins, right? Even though we feel like he's a project right now, some people feeling like he's damaged goods. All he really got to compete right now is this upcoming OTA, mini camp, training camp, and preseason. That's all he's got. Let's hope that's all he's got, meaning that Ben Roethlisberger stays healthy and neither one of those guys have to play. But technically, that's all he has, which means you're signing him on a 1-year deal. You're probably not re-signing him next year unless he doesn't feel that he can go get money elsewhere, right? The Steelers, they love to go with hierarchy. If Mason Rudolph has been signed for another year, and if he comes into this year as the number 2, then it's more than likely that Mason Rudolph opens the 2022 season as the starter for the Pittsburgh Steelers, even if we draft, some of you guys are talking about, what's his name, Malik Willis, Sam Howell, any of these guys, even if we draft him, they probably not starting the season. Y'all know how the Steelers work. Big Ben didn't start. Tommy got hurt early. Ben had to come in. But y'all know how this works. I'm just prepping you to be prepared. be prepared that come next season, this very time, what's the day? June 8th, 2022. It probably won't be this exact date because obviously Tuesday won't fall on the same day next year. But right around now, we'll be talking about Mason Rudolph coming into camp as the #1 quarterback. Book it. Book it. Whether we draft one or not. It is my thoughts and my feelings as of right now. I don't care which one of them quarterbacks. Mason Rudolph comes into the season next year as the starter. Book it. Shout out to C. Antoine Hill for the donation, man. Appreciate it. And by the way, y'all know me. I'm not the type of guy that, I don't mention those type of things, but I have been told by listeners, and shout outs to you guys keeping me in check. Some of you guys have said, hey, man, don't forget, to mention donations. So, okay, so I will say this. If you guys want your comment read immediately, you can send a donation, a super chat, and that can guarantee that your question will be seen and read. There you have it. But all right, man, and it looks like he retracted the message, man, so I can't see it. So I saw you say something about Mason Rudolph, but right now it just shows the donation. So for now, I will say thank you. Thank you. And yeah, Kenyon, I know they ain't prepared, but listen, listen, man. I'm trying to be the voice of reason here. Let's get to the phone calls and see what the good people have to say. First up in the queue, guys, we're going to go 651, and y'all know the routine. In and out, keep them a little short, hit your points. I will be short on my responses. But let's get to it. First up, area code 651. What do you have for us tonight?
What's going on with you, Sam?
Nothing much.
Yeah, so about the topic of Rudolph, I think this is his best year. This is going to be his best chance to become a starter because Haskins, we all know he's got the arm, know he's got the skill set. We just got to see how he picks his offense up. But the good thing is most of them will be learning the offense at the same time. Rudolph might have got a taste of it being there too last season, but they're pretty much all starting at the same time. So if Haskins can control this offense and beats out Rudolph, he's done. He's done. And
yeah.
I like Rudolph at the end of the season, and he did pretty good, but, man, I've never heard Ben talk about another quarterback like that. And I really think he's starting to see the end of his career. He knows it's coming. So I think he's kind of like, hey, this cat here, he got it, So we'll see how that goes. One thing, too, I wanted to ask you. So we were talking about Jalen Samuels, and I was thinking, after looking at some of Matt Campbell's plays and the schemes, what do you think about Samuels playing H-back like he did at North Carolina State, where with some of this misdirection coming out of the backfield, getting a matchup for a catch out of the backfield in certain sets, things like that, because he's got the aptitude to do that. But I'm just wondering, what are they planning on doing? Because I'm surprised he's still there. But that's one role, kind of like Chris Cooley. That's kind of one role. He's not as tall, but, his skill set, he's pretty good with, how he runs and catching and setting up those matchups. So with that misdirection, I think he'd be good in that offense. But thanks a lot.
Man, thanks for calling. You said a good name right there, man. The Washington fans will appreciate that. Chris Cooley. Woo. Chris Cooley was decent, man. I liked how he fit in with them. That is a very interesting question, and I will answer that part of it. I guess the way for me to keep things short is if I just attack one of you guys' comments. If he makes the team, perhaps. The reason why I say if is honestly, I have Jalen Samuels right now as the lone man out. Couple of reasons why. Number one, Anthony McFarland is going to be given more opportunities to be something for two reasons. He's a younger guy. He came out of college young, so I'm sure they're looking at that as he's a year behind technically in development. And Matt Canada coached him. Matt Canada knows what he can do. Matt Canada knows what type of home run guy he can be, or, the Ray McLeod of running backs, if you will, being able to do that type of stuff. So I think Jalen Samuels is going to be in trouble, man. And I don't think he's going to get as much of the opportunity to be the receiving back because of Najee Harris. You know, Najee is clearly going to be a 3-down back. He can catch. I mean, you know, he's showing off already in OTAs. You know, you guys who watched him in Alabama, you know he can make the one-handers and, you know, you can send him on swing patterns and things like that, and you can line him out wide. So, yeah, I think Jalen Samuels is in trouble, man. But, you know, perhaps if he makes it, then yeah, why not? I would love to see, real quick, and I'll get off this, I would love to see Canada utilize every single running back on that roster to keep the defense guessing. Like I said, I would love to see a situation where you might have Najee split out, McFarland in the backfield, Deontay Johnson out there, like all of these shifty guys, the defense will be distressed. I would love to see something like that. So we'll see. Appreciate the call like always. Let me stop myself really quick, man, and give another shout out and round of applause to C. Antoine Hill. Send another donation, and now I can see your message there. He says, man, Mason ain't beating Haskins, though. Okay. Let me tell y'all what, that's a good problem to have. I would love nothing more. I'm going to be honest with y'all real quick. I would love nothing more than for Dwayne Haskins to beat out Mason Rudolph. That would mean that we found one, right? We found one on the humbug. I'd be happy for that. Again, it's never about how you feel about the player. Situation-wise, I would be happy, boy, if that was the case, because that means we done found us a steal. So I'm not rooting for either. You understand what I'm saying? Whoever ends up being the guy, great. So if Haskins beats him out, I'm cool with that. Next caller is Mr. Winningham, area code 803. How you doing tonight, sir?
Hey, good evening, everyone. Only problem with Mason Rudolph, you know, he never showed a whole lot of poise, especially in the year that he and Duck Hodges had split. Last year in the Cleveland game, he showed some poise, but much like Landry Jones, if you put him in pressure him, he will throw that interception like in the game last year at the end of the season. Doesn't really impress me a whole lot. I mean, if he learns how to handle poise, it'll be a little bit more poise in the pocket, fine. I don't see Haskins, who doesn't have much more mobility than Rudolph, but he might be able to stretch the defense. Either way, I imagine Mason will be the stopgap, but I imagine the future quarterback of the Steelers will be that type of quarterback who can help stretch the defense with a little bit more athleticism than what we already have. Lastly, with oddly enough, Corey Davis, but with Julio Jones, I mean, it's not a huge upgrade over Corey Davis because he can't stretch the field. I'm not in favor of two big, huge wide receivers out there. So I think the defenses can adjust to him and able to still pay attention in stopping Derrick Henry. Thank you so much. I hope everyone has a great week. Thank you.
Thank you as well, Mr. Winningham. Like always appreciate your calling. Appreciate your insight. Yeah, man. I'll stay right there with what you said about Mason Rudolph. Give me a second, guys. For some reason, I'm hearing myself here, and I don't know why. What is going on with that? Oh, here we go. I see what happened. Sorry about that, guys. I was tripping for a moment with my mixer. Yeah, that's the one thing, too, with Mason Rudolph that I'm just not really all the way comfortable with. It's like, yeah, he had a very solid game, man, against Cleveland. But like you said, you know, interceptions, and it's, yeah, I'm about sick of and I know this isn't fair to him, but I'm about sick of still trying to see what somebody has after not, and I know it's not fair, but it kind of makes me feel like not as bad as Landry Jones, but I have that feeling of, okay, I've seen you play a little something. Nothing really wows me. It's still kind of a, let's see what we got. Do I think we would have a winning season with Mason Rudolph next year? I don't know. And if I can't say that confidently, yeah. However, I mean, he could surprise us. He could take another step, but I definitely think that where he has to improve is processing the defense, going through progressions, because I still feel like that Mason Rudolph kind of knows where he's going right out the gate. And you just can't be that. And listen, let's not get it twisted. All NFL quarterbacks to some degree know where the play is called. But a lot of times when we're watching football, we could tell who's reading the defense and who's going to, first read, second read, third read, check down. You know what I'm saying? I don't get that from Mason Rudolph. He will take shots down the field. So I think that was a very welcome sight for us to see. But as far as his processing, don't think it's quite there. So thank you again, Mr. Winningham. Let's grab the next one, man. Area code 678. What you got for us?
Hey, thanks for taking my call, Sim.
Oh, yeah.
The one thing that I'm really thankful for this year, Sim, is that finally the coronavirus has calmed down. And what we didn't have last year in training camp was competition. Mm-hmm. This year, competition is back, baby. There's a lot of people that was doing Zoom. You can't learn off of Zoom. You got to be on the field. Anybody that's played football know you have to be on the field. I told you before, Sim, I was born in Pittsburgh, and I stayed there until I was 9, and I moved to Georgia in '79, just in time for the so-called Wayne Williams cases. That's not important. Nevertheless, though,
I got you.
Atlanta Falcon fans. I'm at UPS right now working. The Atlanta Falcon fans here say that they let Julio Jones go not just because of the contract, but because he couldn't stay healthy either. But getting to that, when you were talking about Tennessee, they're gonna try to 8-man front up, because of Najee.
That's true.
Them wide receivers about to go. Ben got 17 years, man. I'm getting pumped up now. Ben got 17 years. You 8-man front him and see what happens. Now we went 11-0 last year, and I was in Pittsburgh for Memorial Day and showing my brother all the games and whatnot. And we, after a while, we didn't have no running game. Everybody knows that. All the highlights from last year are just passing. Now you put Najee Harris in the mix, and that's why I say we're gonna be going 15-2, 14-3. All right. And as far as the division go, I'm sick and tired of hearing about Cleveland and Baltimore. I went back and looked at today. I got on your website, Sim, and went back 2 years ago. All right, 2 years ago, I was looking at when you and my man, I'm sorry, I forget your right-hand man's name right offhand.
Oh,
y'all two were doing the podcast. Kenya, thank you, Tim. And y'all were doing the podcast. And everybody keep on bragging about Cleveland, this and that. They better than us now. Man, stop. Okay? We're not going to snap the ball over our head every time we play Cleveland. Check out Ben's record against the division. Yeah. But the most important thing that's going to make us really good, don't look at Najee Harris's how many yards he's going to get. Look at our third down efficiency. Check that out. And that's why we're going to be fired. Because this man's going to be able to allow us, if you do 8-man front us, so you're going to stop the run. Sometimes he's going to be like Le'Veon. He's going to be able to get that 3 on his own. That's demoralizing for a defense. You got a defense on the field all day long because you got a running game and you can pass. The sky's the limit. 15-2, 14-3, Sim. Thanks for taking the call.
Ooh, man, thanks for calling. Appreciate that. Wow. First of all, I gotta say, with the with the prediction of the record, it kind of reminds me of my man Still Jedi. Shout outs to Jedi, man. I haven't seen Jedi in a while, even though Jedi, I've seen a few of your vids. And y'all remember Still Jedi used to always come in here, man, we going 13-3, we going 14-2. I'm like, man, I ain't mad at it though. Be optimistic. But the point I'm going to comment on is what you said about how teams are going to have to play us now. That's a great point. That is a great point and a great problem to have. I definitely hope that during the season, there's points where teams are lining 8 in the box because Najee getting off on them. You know, the week before, Najee rushed for 20 carries, 144 yards, 2 touchdowns, something like that, to where a team got to be like, hey, yo, we need to keep some extra people in the box with this kid, and they do that. Oh, we got some receivers too now. We might not have these high-powered, high-name guys yet, but I told y'all, I like our receiving core. Even in the 4th spot, I like James Washington still. James Washington might not be no star, but think about this. How many times have James Washington come in the game and made plays for us? Big ones. So, yeah, love that. Love that. Definitely love that. So, as much as I was saying about the Julio thing, yeah, I think it could get to a point where teams might have to put 8 on us. And then Ben can do his magic, and then we're going to need a guy like Deontay Johnson who can do it to beat his one-on-one. And yeah, man, I'm getting a little excited by that too. And I like being the I really do like being the underdog. You know, sometimes it's better to be the chaser than the one that's being hunted. You know, it keeps that hunger. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate that call, man. Let's get to the next 2. Looks like we got 2 more calls remaining. First up, area code 609. What you got for us?
What's going on, Sim?
Nothing much, man. How you doing?
Hey, man, I can't complain. Listen, man, I think like what the last caller said. I think this Haskins and Rudolph art, this competition. I think the key word that he hit the nail in was competition. I think that competition really brings the best out of like people and stuff like that, especially when they got to compete and stuff.
Yeah.
And not only that, you know, you got OTAs, you got the preseason, and then not only that, you know, he's expected to be the starter for 2022. This gave more motivation and more drive and more hunger to Dwayne Haskins, or possibly, you know, next year's quarterback that we select in any of the rounds in the draft and stuff. And what else do I gotta say? The division. Listen, man. You know, I'll give Cleveland their props, man. They punched us in the mouth and stuff. You know, it was a sour taste. But listen, it's a whole new season. You know what I mean? Big Ben, he coming back like fresh off that shoulder injury like a year ago and stuff. You know what I mean? There's gonna be a new coordinator, better offense, better running attack, and you know, best believe Claypool gonna get better. Johnson's going to get better. We already know what we got in Juju. And then we got Najee Harris firing us on all them weapons and stuff like that, and defense as well. Oh, yeah, you best believe we're going to be ready, we're going to be motivated and hungry. Thanks for taking my call, and have a good night.
No problem, man. Thanks for calling. And yes, let's stay right there. It's a lot to be excited about in terms of potential. At the same time, I will have a little bit of, you know, some cautious optimism because there are a lot of new pieces and new moving parts. You know, offensive line is still one of those things that we all got to kind of wait and see. Yeah, we like the fire that it seems like a guy like Kendrick Green can bring, but let's see how he do against the NFL players. You know what I mean? He is a little undersized, but I like that dog in him. And if you got the dog in you, you good, you gonna be all right. But that don't mean that you can't get pushed around. Not really sure what Chuck's gonna do, man, at the left tackle. You know what I'm saying? It's so many question marks that I would like to say that the running game would be better because we have Najee, and, you know, in terms of where you give him a crease, because it's not like the offensive line played bad the entire season. It's just it was times, right? So maybe more of those opportunities where there's a crease there and you have a back like Najee it's going to be more of a successful situation versus a non-successful situation. But I am excited. Again, like I said, I'm excited about being the underdog and, quote unquote, looking up at Cleveland and looking up at the Ravens and kind of looking back at Cincinnati. I love that. I love being in this spot because truth be told, guys, we are in the rebuild right now. Even though Ben Roethlisberger is the quarterback, we're seeing the transition of a new era in the Pittsburgh Steelers organization. And who will we be talking about 2-3 years from now that's like the guy on the team? Which defensively right now, you got to say TJ holds that. Minkah holds that. Offensively, I'm hoping that's going to be Najee. So, and yes, last thing. Chase Claypool and Ben Roethlisberger. What I need y'all to do for me this year, let's utilize that big body he has and that speed. And when you see him one-on-one, can you counterplace kind of like Mason Rudolph played against Cleveland in Week 17 and just air that thing out? Can we get a little more of that? Or when you got James Washington, who seems to be the dude who go get it. How is James Washington one of our best go get it receivers? And he's a shorter stature. I like to see a little more of that, Big Ben. Air it out at times. Now let's be balanced, but when you got it, go get it. Let's get some more of those 50-50s, man. But all right, guys, last call of the night. Area code 724. What you got for us?
Hey, what's going on, Sim?
Good. What's going on?
I just wanted to point out a couple things. I think a lot of people don't give Mason Rudolph the credit he deserves because I really feel that Randy Fichtner held Mason back. Mm-hmm. As far as like throwing the ball downfield, when Mason first got his opportunity to start his first game, and I think with another year to develop, since we're talking about 2022, I think Mason Rudolph actually could be that man. But that's all I really got to say.
Hey man, well I definitely appreciate your call, and I will stay right there. We talked about it a few times tonight. I can go ahead and get the headphones off now, but there's truth in that as well. And that's the thing. That's why you guys have probably noticed that this whole time, last season, even the season when Ben was out, I've been kind of even killed with Rudolph. There's been games when I do feel like there's certain things that he just doesn't have. But then there's opportunities that I see that he can still grow to. So to finalize my thoughts so far, I don't know if Mason Rudolph is going to become the successor. Is he going to be the long-term quarterback? I don't know. I don't quite see that, but I do kind of see, hey, it takes us a few years to get somebody that we feel is the franchise guy. I think Mason Rudolph has enough to do that. I don't think he's as bad as some people think, and I don't think he's as good as some people would say as far as his potential. What I do think, there's somewhere right there in the middle, and I'll actually give him credit, and I'll bump him a little higher than average. I think he's closer to being a decent quarterback for the Steelers than he is for being a terrible quarterback for the Steelers. Because like I said, there are opportunities. You see that he has some intangibles. It's just skill level. There's certain things, like they say, in between the ears that he's going to have to get. And I'm not seeing that from him so far. And again, maybe with more opportunities, which is scary for us, because if he gets more opportunities, that means that he's out there playing. and Ben is not playing. Or maybe we're talking about 2022. I would at least give him that. If y'all want me to be fully honest and transparent, I would give him 2022 to see what he is. If the quarterback of the future, we don't think we have him on the roster, like I said, even if we draft one, I still think Mason Rudolph starts in 2022. And hey, again, you're starting a new era. If Ben Roethlisberger is gone, you're starting over. So it doesn't hurt. You have a season where you kind of see if the guy on your roster can do it, buy you some time. And like I said, that's if we do or don't draft a quarterback in next year's draft. So I'm going to be honest with y'all and say I don't oppose to that. I don't oppose to that because I think unless, we draft a rookie that's just going to come out firing, I don't think we do much worse with a rookie next season. Again, you could hit. You could get a Patrick Mahomes type, which not likely, but possible. I'll even go less than that. You might find you a Dak Prescott. Remember how how good he played, like how decent he played his rookie year? We might get lucky and we draft a guy like that. Not talking about exact play style. I'm just talking about having that level of success. We might do that. We might get one of these kids next year and yeah, they already like, give them another year or two, but you never know. You never know. So that's why I say I'm honestly comfortable with let Mason Rudolph start it in 2022 and let's see what he got, man. And if he's not playing well, whoever we have behind him, whether that's Haskins if he re-signs or a free agent or whoever else, then you bring that guy in and then we know he's not the guy. But I'm not opposed to him at least starting in 2022 right now because like I said, at least let's see if the third round pick investment was worth it at all. You know what I mean? So that's all I got, man. That's all I got. That's what I feel about it. And yeah, I see somebody, Kenyon is referring to, I guess somebody's talking about Dobbs. Oh, okay. I see Rajan says Dobbs wants that rematch against Mason. Yeah, I think Dobbs is the lone man out in this situation. I really do believe that what we're going to start the season with is a Mason Rudolph and Dwayne Haskins as backups in that order. I will not discount the fact that Dwayne Haskins has the opportunity to overtake the number 2 spot, but it's going to be tough. For one, opportunities primarily is going to be him and Rudolph playing in preseason, but also, again, with the Steelers signing him, you got to feel like the depth chart is going to fall in that order, where Rudolph is going to number 2. And, listen, it's a good problem to have. If it turns out that Haskins turns out to be the guy, that is a good problem. So I'm not going to complain however it goes. That's all I got, man, on that. So, like I always do, guys, I will spend a few minutes in here with you guys. Maybe 4 to 5 minutes, if that long, man. And any comments that you guys have. Let's start right here with Y Diggy says, or it could be a Josh Allen situation where Mason and or Haskins could make a drastic improvement. Yeah, man. I mean, anything's possible, man. John Gotti says, I am really hearing dudes stick up for Mason. What a joke. We already seen what he can do, and that's nothing. But John Gotti, listen, I respect your opinion just like I hope you respect everyone else's. The truth of the matter is like Y Diggy just said, you never know. You never know, right? Let's take Ryan Tannehill, for instance. Ryan Tannehill, to me, is not a great quarterback, but Ryan Tannehill was really, I didn't think anything turned out in Miami. He goes to Tennessee and he has a resurgence, aided by a run game. So what I'm saying is, you never know. Mason Rudolph could end up being a game manager for the Steelers, and we're winning games. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like when you look at the quarterback position, it doesn't always have to be that guy that's throwing for 300-400 yards and 3-4 touchdowns a game. You just never know how these guys are going to turn out. And I would have to disagree with you, John, in terms of you saying he has nothing. I disagree with that. Like I said, he has some decent, he has some bad. I think what we saw in the season finale last year, of course, he threw a pick, which Ben throws picks, right? I think from what we saw in that Cleveland game, I don't think you can walk away from that and just say he has nothing, right? He might not be what you're looking for, but to say he has nothing, I got to disagree with that. But like I said, respectfully though. And I'm not, and again, I don't want to get into a back and forth, John, but I'm not comparing him to Ryan Tannehill. I'm just talking about trajectory of careers. That's all I'm saying. I'm not comparing any of these dudes' play style. I'm just saying Mason Rudolph could be put in a situation. He takes the keys over from Ben. Najee Harris is our premier running back, and we run the football more. And we just asking Mason Rudolph to manage. It's very possible that he can do that. Remember, I said I don't think he's going to be the franchise guy that's with us for 12 years. But it's very possible that if the Steelers get that running game back going and we just need him to manage the game like Tannehill typically does and make a few throws here and there, it's possible. That's all I'm saying. Todd Christian says in defense of Mason Rudolph, that last Cleveland game, he did get punched in the face on that interception and it was a no call. Oh, yeah, I said probably so. I don't even remember that, but you're probably right. It probably something crazy happened there. In the Green TV says Steelers fans are spoiled. Most quarterbacks have been successful in this league. Guys like Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady had to wait for their opportunity, and they had time to develop. That is a very good point as well. Thank you for that, in the Green TV. And we are. I say we because we all family and we all a community, even though I don't think I'm as crazy as some of you guys out there. But we are, man. Steelers fans, boy, I tell you, boy, we some of the most, man. We wild, man. We wild out here. Jordan Mid says every quarterback throws picks. It's part of the game, and it's going to happen. Absolutely, absolutely. But like I said, I don't want anybody to walk away from this thing acting as if I'm defending Mason Rudolph. Remember, y'all know my stance is I'm always objective in my assessments. That's always what I do. I'm objective. Real Fact says, so true, Kenyon, but we also have to hope we find a trade partner. Who y'all talking about? Hold on. Kenyon says, Mason isn't a third-string quarterback. Man, he's a 2. Okay. So y'all talking about a trade situation. Got it. Jordan Mid says, nobody is saying Mason is a franchise quarterback. We're just saying he can be a solid quarterback that can get it done. That's all I'm saying. Listen, guys, none of us have to agree on what we think about him, but I'm just saying, to say that he just don't have nothing, I don't think I could say that anymore. At the same time, I'm not opposed to somebody else beating him out. That's the thing. I just want the best guy. Like, I think sometimes people confuse us talking about a player as us campaigning for him. I'm not. I told you, I would love for Dwayne Haskins to beat out Rudolph. That would make my day. That would mean that the Steelers got a steal somehow. Would make my day. Mac Anthony says Mason will not be starting. Haskins is 10 times better than Rudolph. Whoa. Let's I want to hear you guys debate that. Appreciate that, Mac Anthony. That's a great comment there. Listen, this is what it's all about. It's discussion. You know, a lot of times we'll agree. Sometimes we won't. Again, Mac Anthony says Mason will not be starting. He says Dwayne Haskins is 10 times better than Rudolph. I want you guys to debate that one. Because honestly, I'm just spitballing here. I think Dwayne Haskins also has some qualities. Just had a rough time in watching him, man, and I don't know what it was from. I know some of his mechanics are off. But I might have to say Mason Rudolph has put together may have had more solid games as a whole than Haskins. I'm just spitballing. I'm not sure. But I'm just trying to think about everything that I saw from Haskins in Washington. Again, terrible situation he was in, but I don't know. I can't recall any games where I was impressed with Haskins. You know what I mean? Kenya says, no, we are talking about trading up in the draft. Oh, okay, for next year. Gotcha. Sippy Boy says, I think the position that Haskins is perfect for him. There's no pressure and he can learn. Rudolph has to step up or he may lose his spot at number 2. Unlike Mason, but it's time for the next step. Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. Again, ain't nobody campaigning for the dude. We're just saying, yo, give him a chance, but he has to step up. It's still going to be up to him ultimately. If he stinks the place up in preseason or whatever else, then we'll come in and say, okay, we've seen enough. You know what I mean? But I want you guys to debate that. Let's end the show on that. Let's debate Mac Anthony's comment of him saying that Haskins is 10 times better than Rudolph. I'm going to let you guys do it. And I just want to see what you guys say. Throwback Music says Haskins has better mobility than Mason. I agree with that. Richard II says, Richard II says Haskins for the dub. Okay. I like that, Jacob. Jacob Bellinger says Haskins is 10 times more talented. Round of applause. Sometimes it's word choice, folks. Sometimes it's about word choice. Wow. See? King Seiko. Is that right? He said last year Tannehill threw for 3,819 yards, 33 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. See, I don't know if Rudolph can do that. But thank you, King. That proves my point, right? He won't doing that in Miami. So Tannehill has turned into a nice quarterback, right? That's all I'm saying. Again, I am not comparing skill level, talent, nothing. I'm just talking about a quarterback's trajectory of it being possible that you don't do so well early on and then later on you turn into a half-decent quarterback. So thank you, King Seiko. Thank you. That's all I was trying to say. Not saying he would be anywhere close to that. I'm just saying you never know. And again, it don't cost nothing, guys. It's very low risk with this guy. And again, y'all might as well get prepared. Life after Ben Roethlisberger is going to be a crapshoot. It's going to be years of us trying to find the guy unless we get lucky. So that's all I'm saying. I'm trying to look at it from a realistic standpoint. Sippy Boy says, I would say Haskins has the potential to be better, but I can't say he's 10 times better at this point. Neither can I. I can't say that at this point. Okay. Appreciate you clarifying that as well, Mac. Mac says, pure skill set. All Haskins needs to do is stay focused. No development in Washington. Got you. I'm with you. I'm with you on that. See, and that's why I like us having conversations. See, that's why, guys, I don't jump on somebody's comment. I could disagree with you guys. You could disagree with me, but it's family here. That's why I don't never be like, oh, that's stupid. That's why I don't do that. Because now when you clarify that, it makes more sense. And he later on, Mac Anthony says, if Mason is good, they would have never got another quarterback. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. Every team goes into at least camp with 3. And here's another thing to throw at you, Mac. Let's not forget 2019. When we ended up with Duck Hodges and Mason Rudolph. Like, you just never know. You got to have your injury security. So I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say they wouldn't have got another quarterback, right? Because they were definitely going to get somebody, whether it was Dobbs, or, you know what I'm saying? And Haskins was cheap, and Tomlin and crew feel like they can rehabilitate him, and it doesn't cost us nothing. So, yeah, that's why they did that. Builder's Life says, in college, Haskins showed a wide variety of throws. Rudolph has all deep balls to James Washington. Both need improvement to NFL-based starter at best. Yeah, base level starter at best. Absolutely agree with that. Appreciate that, Joel Abrams, man, for the donation. Welcome home, brother. Yeah, I don't know much about this Roland Rivers guy, man. I'm going to keep my eye on him in training camp and stuff like that, but I really don't know much about him. I have not watched any of his film. But, yeah. I'll keep my eye on it. Okay, a couple more. Bonor Johnson says, praising someone's talent doesn't make him a good NFL quarterback. We have known since college that Dwayne has a big arm. Doesn't make him an NFL starter. Yeah, that's true. Amen, Mr. Winningham. He said, let's hope it doesn't take us another 21 years to find another franchise QB. My goodness gracious. You right about that. Facts, John Gotti. He says, look at what Washington did to RG3. Haskins not going for that. Yeah. RG3 was ruined, man. Shanahan should have never played that kid, man. And should have never did that. Forced him to go back and play. The knee won't quite right. And it just, once RG3 was not comfortable with running the football, his career was over. In terms of, his confidence was shot. You could see it. Morgan Bradley says, I don't feel like Mason has the confidence to play still. I feel like he would have played sometime during the last half of the season last year. No. I won't say that because you mean that they would have played him over Ben? You saying you think he would have played him over Ben? Because remember what you said. You said during the last half of the season. No way. I mean, let's not forget, Steelers started off 11-0, right? So then you're only talking about, 6 games? When was he going to play? And they wasn't going to pull Ben for Rudolph. You understand what I'm saying? Good point, Kenyon. We got to remember, Matt Canada's style offense, there could be quite a few quarterbacks that can fit that mold. So again, listen, let me end it with this, man, and I still read a few more of you guys' comments here. I'm just looking at them. We have to remember this, and Kenya, thank you for putting that all in perspective. We don't need a world-beating quarterback. We can literally find a scheme-fit quarterback, and we'll be just fine. You understand what I'm saying? We might not need. I'm not even gonna say might. I'm going to say this respectfully, with all due respect, because like I told you, I'm always going to love the guy. We don't need Ben Roethlisberger going forward. We don't need that style quarterback. We don't need to think like that. 5,000 yards pass. We don't need that guy no more. With Canada's offense, this could literally start a brand new era of Pittsburgh Steelers offense. Literally. Where it's almost like plug and play, like plug in, and you're going to get guys who can play it and do it better than others. But it literally could get to a point where, okay, I need this type of quarterback and I can make him work in my system. It's no longer the Ben Roethlisberger way. You feel what I'm saying? So we might not necessarily need to find that guy that's going to be the best quarterback in the league. We just need a dude that can efficiently run the offense that Matt Canada will introduce even post Ben Roethlisberger. Great point. Yeah. Good point, Rajan. I actually, honestly, I might jump out the window and say I expect to see a few packages with Dobbs. I expect to see that. Just to shake it up a little bit. Yeah, could get interesting. Last one of the night. Is it Gerbil? It said Mason will be okay, but he isn't our future. If Haskins takes advantage of Ben and learns everything he can from him, he will take over for Ben. Yeah, and listen, I'm going to be a little honest with y'all, man. Just off of pure talent that's in that kid's body, if we can develop Dwayne Haskins, I would be happy about that. That's a big if, though. But if we could, the boy has a cannon. He's athletic. He has athletic talent. Is he the greatest running quarterback? No, but he can move. He's not as bad as some people would say. He can get out of trouble. So if somehow Mike Sullivan, Ben Roethlisberger, Matt Canada, Tomlin, from a mental standpoint, and whoever else could help, can develop him and he turns out to be something, I would be overjoyed. Because he's a big guy, has a big arm. I'd be overjoyed. And we would have the opportunity to sign him when it ain't going to cost much. If he turns out to be good. You see something in him, you try to re-sign him right away. You know what I'm saying? But that's all. Gerbil. Okay. Appreciate that. Appreciate the phonetic spelling there. My bad, man. My bad. But all right, man, I'm going to get out of here, man. This is great. See, I love these type of shows, man. And I think coming up soon, I don't know quite when, but there will be another Steel Table here approaching pretty soon. I've been trying to wait to when there was a little more information to talk about. Maybe we'll plan it for minicamp should be starting soon. So I know, Kenyon, you're listening. Tony, if you see this, when you get a chance, definitely want to, maybe we'll do one of those when minicamp starts. So at least we'll have some, a little bit of news will be coming out of that where we can, have something to talk about. So that'll be coming very, very soon. But outside of that, guys, y'all know what it is. Love you guys, man. Appreciate y'all coming through. Boom, right there, man. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. Cut on those notifications. Hit the like button. If you like what you saw, hit the like button. If you didn't like what you saw, hit the dislike. Either one of them actually helps the channel. So express your real feelings. So that's all I got. But I hope you guys be well. I hope my Sixers get it done. I'm a little afraid, see, Antoine. I'm a little afraid, man. I'm a little afraid. Not that I'm so afraid of the Hawks, but Trae Young is a little bit of a problem, man, as far as how we're going to defend him. And, yeah, I'm a little afraid, man, that I don't want to get into that really tonight. This ain't the place for it, but I wouldn't be surprised if somehow the Sixers didn't, get out of there. Like I told you guys, I don't think this is the season that they win the title anyway. So to me, when it comes to professional sports, I'll say this for definitely the Steelers. I'm always happy when we get to the playoffs because there's a chance. But what do I always tell y'all? What I tell y'all last year? I said, man, we're going to lose in the first round. When I don't think that we have a chance to win the chip, I don't get excited. Still watch. Still my squad. Black and gold, baby, always. But I knew we won't win no championship last year, and I feel that way about my Sixers. We're not winning a title this year. So am I excited to watch and see? Maybe if they get to the conference finals, might feel a little better. But they're not winning no chip this year. So at this point, I'm like, whatever. I don't think y'all are going to win. Hello, Miss Melissa. Hello, Miss Melissa. We're going to welcome you. This is what we do for our female listeners. We give you a special, let's round of applause that she just subscribed. Thank you very much. Welcome to the family, being another lady of the chat. And Nathaniel, I just saw you subscribe. Thank y'all, man. Thank y'all. Y'all are so kind. I appreciate that. But all right, man, let's get out of here. Y'all be well. Stay safe. God bless. Good night.
90 seconds.
And she's telling us to go, right? Y'all hear that? Blog Talk. Stay safe. God bless. Good night. And thank you for tuning in to Terrible Towel Tuesday. Peace.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.